Hello and welcome to part 2 of making this fountain thingy in shader graph. So this is what we had in part 1. Um, let's start by fixing the cut in the noise texture. So to do that, we are gonna create okay. So to do that, we need two noise texture. Come on. And another tiling. You will connect this here, but the only we need a duplicate of this actually, and this is gonna be for the Y. The only difference is gonna be this, the tiling I'm sorry, the offset on the X is gonna be 1, right? And then we're gonna connect the same scale to this one, and we're gonna connect this UV to this one. Right, so now we have this texture, right? And then this one is like the continuation of it, because we added 1 to the X offset. And so if we blend this, half of this with half of this, we're gonna have a seamless kind of texture. So we're gonna have another lerp to blend these two, and another gradient which will have a normal tiling and offset, a normal UV as a time. So now we have half from this one and half from this one. Let's check that out. For that, let's connect it. And let's check this out. And ta-da! You can see now there is no cut. It's seamless. Okay. So another thing is we want to see through, like the back face. We want to see what is behind these drops, but the ones at the behind, we want to see them. So this is easy. We are gonna go here, this one, two-sided. Just click it, and then you can see the ones behind. Okay. Now let's make it shrink more at the bottom. So to do this, we need to have this part here completely white at the bottom. So we are gonna use another rotate and gradient again. Let's move all of this to the back. You can use actually the add node, which will add this to this. Of course, this is too much, but let's see what will happen. Save. And let's, for example, reduce the alpha or increase it. Okay, it's kind of fine. Now you can see that it's disappearing, but this is too much. So we are gonna modify this gradient to have the white area in here. And let's check this out. Let's reduce the alpha. That's still a lot of space in here. So we are gonna reduce the white to be kind of gray. It's a little bit less than this. Yeah, I think this is good. Now you can see how it's getting smaller up to the nothing. It makes more sense now. Okay, now so let's make these at the bottom turn the texture to white or a defined color. So we're gonna use the same thing again. Let's duplicate these. Oops. So we're gonna lerp this texture with, let's create a color, or you can make it just a normal one. Splash color. Let's make it white. And connect it to this one. And have this one here. And then that's too much. This is gonna take half of it. So we're gonna reduce it. I think this is gonna do it. And we're gonna connect it to the albedo. And let's save this. So it is there, but it needs to be higher than this. So we are gonna bring the white here. That's good enough. You can change the color if you want to be red, of course not, but blue, for example, only the blue or white, bluish, something. Okay, so now let's do the distortion of the whole thing. For distortion, there is this new thing here, which is position, which is the position of each vertex, and you can control it with these nodes. So we're gonna start by adding a position node, which is gonna be an object, and if you connect this directly, it's not gonna do anything. This is the actual position of the geometry already. What we are going to do is we are gonna add something to this position, right? This something is gonna be a noise, right? But the noise is like this. It's between 0 and 1. And so we can't just add it because it's, let me show you what will happen. So let's take the same setup for making a seamless noise texture. Okay, let's create a distortion speed 5. This is going to be the multiply of time, and let's put the distortion size which is going to connect to the noise. Default of 1 or 3 maybe, right? Okay, So if we just add these two, it's gonna add in the 3 axes, which is gonna look like this. Not really fancy. Let me save it and show you on our mesh. Oh, it disappeared because this is too much. Okay, so we are gonna create a multiplier and create a vector 1 for how much distortion do we want. So you can see is the distortion is going in one axis, kind of, because we are adding the same value to all the axes together. So we're gonna just have this thing like this, which is not really what we want. What we want is to add this value to the normal of each vertex, which will make it like, if we are talking about this area, it's gonna go like this. If we are talking about this area, it's gonna go like this, and so on. So we are gonna create a normal normal vector node. It's gonna be also object, and we are going to multiply the value of this by the value of the normal, and then we add it. So let's check this out. Okay. That's too much of a distortion. I'm gonna go with 0. This is still too much, but this is kind of the result that we want. One other thing is that we don't want anything to happen at the beginning of the mesh. So we are going to filter this by using the same technique here. We're gonna lerp between this, no, it's the other way, like this. So we're gonna have black at the top. We don't want that much, so we're gonna, oh, we don't want that much, so we are going to reduce this and bring this here. With something like this is fine. And then connect this here. So let's save this. Right, so you can see now this is static, and then these are moving like this. And of course you can play with the speed. It's gonna go much faster. Or the size of the distortion. This is gonna be like smaller smaller waves. This is very big, obviously. And so on. So now, if we put some smoothness and some metallic, you can see it doesn't have any normal map, so it's very smooth. So we can add a normal map texture. So let's do that. Create a texture, call it normal. Smooth this back. Put the normal texture somewhere here. Move these. Input, and then texture, sample texture. And let's put the default to be, oh, I think I didn't make one. I will do it later. So this is going to be normal map, and you can connect it directly to the normal. Let's save this. So when you don't, I don't know if this is a bug or what exactly, but you can see it's giving me a yellow texture when I don't have any texture chosen, which is not what we want. We want something blue, like pure blue, because yellow is gonna look like this. So unless you add a texture, you are not gonna have any beautiful or reasonable looking. Let's create a normal, and let's put it here, and you can see, god damn it. And let's put it here. We obviously didn't use the proper UV, so we're gonna do that. So you can see this UV should work because it's the same for the texture. Let's save this. Yeah, it's kind of working. This one, I think we should go down more than this. Okay. It is still too much, so we can add a alert node, and we will go between this and this. It should be here, and we're gonna put 1 in the Z, which is the blue, and we need another vector one. We're gonna call it normal power. And it's gonna be a range slider between 0 and 1. And we will connect it to the T. And we'll connect this one here. Let's save this. So now you can see if it is on the 0, there is no normal map at all. And you can control how much normal map you want. Let's increase the metallic just so you can see. Let's get closer. Something like this is nice. And now, even if you don't have a normal, you will have this unless you put it to 0. If you put it to 0, it's going to be nice. If you go with 1, you will have some issues. Okay, so now we have this other mesh. Let me show you this in Blender. this is how it looks in Blender, right? And let me show you how the the unwrap. So if you can see there are slices like this, the one after the one after. So all of them are like this, and they take the whole texture. So let's go back. And let's add it to the scene. Let's copy the same transform, and let's move it a little bit, and let's just drop the same material on this one. Okay, let's get this back. So you can see, using the same material, everything is working, but because this one has much larger surface on the x-axis only, so you can see that the cutout is stretched. So even if you go with the cutout size to be much smaller, it's still gonna look stretched. This is why I added another property to change the x tiling or x size of the noise. So let's do that. We're gonna go with this, and we are gonna use we're gonna call it cutout x size, and let's put it back between the cutout properties. Let's keep it to 1, and let's drop it here. So we are going to use the tiling for both noise textures. So we're gonna take this and this, duplicate them, put them here, and on this is gonna control the x-axis for both, and the y is gonna be the default, which is 1. Well, 1 is enough for both. Let's save this, and let's try it here. So we have the cutout x size. If you increase it, we'll have this. But now we have a cut again. Why? Because we are changing the x styling without changing the offset, which causes this problem. So what we are going to do is that the offset of the first one is going to be always 0, but for the second one it's not gonna always be 1, because 1 is for tiling 1, but if the tiling is less or more, then it will need to change. So let's add a multiplier here, and let's put 1, and we will multiply it by this, and we're gonna put it in the x. Let's save this, and now we don't have the cut anymore. Go back to 1, 2, they are all good. So that's gonna do it for this video. If you have any suggestions for some materials that you want to see how to make, you can comment them down. And thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe and hit the like button if you like this video and if you want to see more videos.